And we're live.
Oh my goodness. We are live. Bear with us, everyone. A little technical difficulty on my end.
Problems, Robert.
Are you all getting all these things popping up on your screen?
No.
Okay. I am. So just give me one moment and let's see if this works or not. I'm really not sure. It's that February 16th thing. They're making me accept a bunch of things right now as I'm going in. But let's just excuse that. As long as you guys can hear me right now and I see that we're live.
Is that the
For
last
those that
time
are
we
joining
went
us, just so that you know, and this will be part of the conversation we have today. I'm really glad that we were able to kind of come back together again, make this happen, to bring you some value. We're going to be talking about thriving amidst an economic uncertainties, especially in the world of entrepreneurs. You know, there's so many people that we've been talking to, clients, other collaborative partners that are just seeing such a shakeup right now, not just in the economy itself, but in the technology and the tools that we use. And it seems as though there's so many things that are like kind of weighed against us, right? That are preventing us from really thriving. But we're going to hopefully shed some light on that, and including all of these things popping up on my screen. We'll be talking about that as well. But welcome to another episode of the Uncensored Entrepreneurs. We'll see you on the inside. Maybe.
Possibly.
Man,
Back together again.
how was that for an intro? Just so that everyone knows, because you didn't see what was happening on my screen. The minute I hit, stream live, we were all set. We thought we were good to go. I actually had 12 little alerts pop up, and they popped up all over my screen saying I had to accept. Right, I had to accept all these live connections based on the February 16th change. With Facebook and some of the social media platforms. So we're really crazy.
How group posting in groups, you cannot no longer post in third-party groups. Christina, you are completely frozen. So I'm so sorry.
Oh. Let it go. Let it go.
With us today. So let's see, like in the last 3 weeks, we've had a baby, we've had a death, we've had a surgery.
We've had sickness, we've had all kinds of things, right? And that really is going to kind of feed it. Even though the title is Economic Uncertainties, all of these things just seem to just pile up, right? We were talking right before we went live, the fact that when one thing seems to happen in your business, one little hurdle, it just stacks up, right? And so mindset, heart set, all of these things that we always talk about are probably two of the biggest. Yeah, you're back, girlfriend. All right, you're back. But mindset and heart set, and she's gone again. But mindset and heart set are absolutely the differences between almost everything, right? Because technology is going to fail us. And I can't wait till we talk about some of these platforms and the tools that we use to get our message out.
Yeah.
The fact that many of them are kind of like shutting us down, right? I mean, there's just been so many issues. So we'll be talking a little bit more about that as well. And it's coming at some crazy times where so many people right now, and I'd like to hear your input. How many of you right now have clients or people that you collaborate with on a regular basis that are telling you like, man, this economy is crazy. I'm not getting the clients I used to have. I'm having to change all my marketing and advertising. What are your thoughts around that?
Christina's keyboard is so loud.
So, yes, I'm seeing a lot of posts online. Christina and I chatted last week, And we'll talk a little bit about that because we felt guilty for not going live. So that's like another topic we're going to touch on. But there are people who are posting online about feeling defeated about their business. Financially, they're not making enough money with the state of the economy. They're not getting the clients that they were getting. I have people in my DMs, multiple people that are crying, which makes me cry. And I'm like, oh my God, I feel so heavy right now.
You know,
so true.
I want to really quickly go off subject, really quickly, just to thank everybody for the calls, the messages, the text, the flowers, the gifts, the food, everything. My mom passed away 2 weeks ago, unexpectedly, and as many of you guys know, we've had a strained relationship, so I haven't talked to her in like 5 years. But so I'm getting all the emotions, and for those of you guys who can understand and feel that, it's just been like up and down. So I have good days, I have bad days. Poor Tony. Poor Tony. Poor Tony. I'm glad he's been there, but so many of you guys have also been there and texted and called and texted every single morning for the last 2.5 weeks to make sure I was okay. Sent flowers. I mean, for about a week and a half, we had food sent to our house. Some of them I don't even know who sent it. It just showed up at the door. So thank you for whoever that was and is for continuing to pray and all of that stuff. But you got to still move on with things like that. You got to grieve and stuff. So I think I'm like pushing it aside so I can get on with it. But you got to, when you're an entrepreneur, you got to go with the flow, right? Like you have a baby, you got to still do your thing. You have surgery, you still gotta
go. I did take a couple weeks off, to heal up. Plus, it was really just hard for me to do anything.
Get
right?
a little nose job done. So
a little bit of a nose job. I don't know. There's so many other areas I wouldn't mind, redoing, but here I had to work on my nose. So, but you know what, Tina, I don't want to dismiss, the vulnerability that you've just shared, and our prayers do go out to you. As you know, I lost my father in December, so I can at least I understand, I can empathize with the fact of how hard that is, especially when it's unexpected and you didn't have any idea. So you've got a lot of support, and that really does feed into everything we were just talking about earlier, and the fact that when you're an entrepreneur, so many times you're sitting on that island all by yourself. Sometimes we coined it as the solopreneur, right? It's just you on an island. You're figuring things out. You're doing your marketing. You're working on your brand. You're working on your own products and services, and you're learning along the way. But at the same time, you're still trying to thrive, and you're trying to bring in some type of income so that you can contribute to the overhead of what it takes, right, to make all this happen. And so in those defeated moments of anything in life, something that's happening in trauma and loss, the best thing that you can do to maintain anything, right? Technology, this stuff, all the things that we're learning, it comes and goes. There's ebbs and flows, it changes. But the one thing that you absolutely need intact is mindset, and you need that heart set. Like those two things. And the best way that you can do that when you don't have the strength to do it for yourself is through collaboration. And so right here, right? Like this is the posse, the band's back together. We're glad that we're live again.
We haven't been live for 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, my mom passed. Robert, I was going to say Tony. Robert was having surgery. The other two girls were, so we were all kind of going through something. So thank you for the grace that you guys are giving us and for letting us go. But we wanted to come back full on throttle because we want you guys to know, like, we were totally feeling guilty for like the last 2 weeks for not going live because we're getting these messages like, I need your guys' positive help, and all the things. And so we're back. We're so glad that you guys are still following us and listening and all things. Sorry, you just had somebody this morning, reach out to you. So, you want to give yourselves grace for letting yourselves go, have a baby, have surgery, go through the trauma and whatever it is. So, what do you guys do for that? What do you guys do when life is happening and you still gotta get up in the morning instead of sleeping?
Bulldoze through it. I bulldoze through it. Yeah. That's what I do.
Christina, you just multiplied, right? you just became two people. So you can really relate to that, right? Something that you've just had to figure out that
you just
balance.
reproduced.
She
It's
multiplied.
full on, man. I forgot how often you have to feed, what uninterrupted sleep is like, all of these things that you forget. And the thing is, I like that we're talking about this too, because you got to give yourself some grace. Like, we're really, really lucky. By the way, you guys are all choppy to me. So if I sound like I need hearing aids, that's why I don't catch certain things that you guys are saying. But when you look at the big picture, as entrepreneurs, we have a different pace. We have a different rhythm that we do business to. And often that piece increases, and it increases with your income, actually. So the more you do, the more you make. It's just an energy exchange. And so one of the things that can be really challenging is when you're looking at economic times, entrepreneurs know that they need to dig in when times get tough. They need to do more. They need to be more. They need to serve at a higher level. They need to serve their customers at a higher level. But then what happens is, often you get to this point that you don't give yourself the time that you need to reboot and heal. And things like this come up: surgeries, babies, death in the family, or, things that are unimaginable happen. And a lot of the times, the hardest part as an entrepreneur is giving yourself grace for that and saying it's okay to take a day off. Star and I had this conversation right about spring break and our kids.
You're teetering on this little thing, right? And something happens, you're like,
yeah. I don't want to get completely all foo-foo on everyone, but I will tell you, I have had some days, and especially in these last couple months, where, because I'm just so intensely working on some new things, some new products for some big customers, right? So we've been diving in really deep, spending a lot of computer time. And, again, I don't know about your situation, but I sometimes have to unplug. I just have to close the laptop. I'll walk outside, kick my shoes off, barefoot to the ground, and let that sunshine come in, right? And I literally ground. I'm literally grounding myself to earth, right? Because I'm just I need a little bit of this, right? I need some fresh air.
My thing is beach. Beach
Yeah,
is what grounds me. And so Tony, in 2 weeks is our 1-year anniversary of us just going out as boyfriend and girlfriend. So he booked us a trip to Myrtle Beach, just so we can walk on the beach. I can get clear. We can get some clarity, because it's a lot, right? You take on everything, because you're the marketing, you're the CEO, you're the you take on so much, and then something happens that you're not prepared for, and it kind of you're okay, I can still do this. Wait. Whew, okay, I can still do this. And you're sitting there pushing yourself. Yesterday, I had one of those days. I was like, oh, I don't feel very good. I literally passed out. I haven't slept in 4 days, just because there's so many things going on. But
yeah, absolutely. And so and you're right. And so we are in some very uncertain times. Life is uncertain, anyways. So it typically seems, and that's what Star. We were just talking about the fact that when one little thing happens in business that creates some kind of friction, it seems like there's this domino effect, right? This happens, whatever it may be. Maybe it's even a client that's committed to something big that has to pull out for their own financial reasons, right? So, and we give them grace as well, because we understand they're faced with the same exact type of economic uncertainties that we are. But it does become this domino effect. And, even for myself, I've had to kind of, tighten down, and I'm not paying things out as much as I was before in regards to some marketing and other things. But it's in these moments that I have found there's these two options, as you stated, Tina. You can quit. Not a very good option, by the way. In most cases,
easy option.
Easy option. But really, in the long run, you'll regret it. You lose time, momentum, all kinds of other things that happen, let alone you cripple your mindset, right? And but the other option is pivoting. And I think you even said something about that, Christina. It's time to make a change. And it's in these times that we go, you know what, maybe I don't need to do this, but I should be looking harder at this. Yeah. And so we start to dig a little bit deeper. Star, I know you've been working on some new things as well. And, have each of you found that you've had to really change the way that your marketing, your budget, all these things that typically, you've put into your business?
Absolutely. So personally, I am not outsourcing as much as I used to. I heavily depend on team and I always will. That's just with my nature. I thrive when people are helping me, but I'm not able to spend as much as I was able to. And I think it's important for us to work on, actually saving money during these times as well. So we're having to cut back and not really spend as much as we may have been spending. But it's also important for you to look at your product suite or the different businesses that you have. Several of us here have more than one business, and within those businesses, we have more than one business model. So I started bringing in MRR a bit over a year ago. I saw these things coming into place, and I was like, I really like these small ticket. I like bringing in small ticket and big ticket income. So I used to sell these products where I teach for like 4 to 6 weeks, and then it's like, okay, they can pay me on payment plans, and I'm always doing this, and it's like, every month I'm doing something new. You get burnt out. So if you have something that you can have on an ongoing basis where this person is paying you recurring and not just for that small period of time, that's going to be very beneficial to your business. And businesses who actually have recurring revenue coming in actually are valued at a higher rate than businesses that just have profit.
Tell us what kind of recurring revenue, like, I know there's a lot, but what are like the top couple of recurring revenue things that you have? And then, maybe a few that other people could do.
So you can definitely think about something like a subscription-based model. So this could actually be, in my case, I sell a SaaS, which is software as a service. So I'm selling a software to people and they pay me every single month for that particular software. I'll also be bringing out memberships, which I've mentioned to you guys before. So that's a model that I'll be bringing out. And I'll also be working with women who also want to do the same thing, because with memberships, yes, it's low ticket, but if you really kind of hone in on that, especially during these economic times that are challenging, you're going to see in 2 to 3 years, it's going to pay off for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I found for myself in these last 2 months, and that's really some things that we're going to be doing together as a group as well. But I've really been leaning back on some of my, some of my collaborative partnerships with people, some of my JV partnerships where, I'm basically promoting even some of your own products and services along with mine, so that number one, I can provide a solution to my client, but I don't have to do all the work, right? It doesn't make sense that if Tina's got a course on how to write your own book, that I actually, even as an author, that I would put together my own course on how to write a book. And so these are like ways that we can really collaborate with one another to provide a solution to solve a major problem. Yeah, we're not selling anything.
Affiliate marketing is
we're providing a solution, right?
You don't have to do nothing, right? They usually give you all the stuff to promote. You get a nice little commission off of it, and you're not, you're promoting other people's stuff. And I don't know about you, but I can probably sell other people's stuff more than I can sell my own.
Well, the interesting thing about that, I'm glad that you mentioned that, Tina, because for everyone that's actually chiming in and listening, these are things that we're open to having these conversations with people all the time. There's many times we are selling other products and services, and we like to build those same partnerships with you if you have something that's a major your solution provider to our audience. But I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because most of the time are just innately how we are perfectionists. We continue to look at our own products and we want to tweak them along the way. But when you're selling someone else's product, it's a business in a box. It's a solution in a box, and you're providing that without any control of the product itself. And so typically you will get higher results from that. The other thing that I'll just mention, and I'll throw in for each of you to kind of jump on, is the fact that when you are selling other people's products, in many cases, because of that partnership, you'll find that they build that same, when I say JV partnerships, by the way, for those that don't know, joint venture. And so they'll do the same exact thing for your products and services. Like, building those partnerships are huge. And I talk about it in my little plug, my upcoming book in the next 2 months, we're hoping to launch. But in 7-figure relationships, it is all about building the relationships where you can actually promote one another and then both be successful.
Christina.
I'm like, it's all choppy, so I don't know where I can jump in. But what we're really talking about here is, and if you guys haven't put all these little pieces together, I want to make it really simple. We're talking about multiple streams of income. We're talking about having multiple streams of income amidst really hard economic times, so that when one, like if we've got high ticket coaching that we're selling over here and people can't afford that at the moment, or that's not where they can allocate their funds, where can you serve them somewhere else? And, I want to, sorry, I'm just going to like recap a couple of things that we said, but, we talk about assessing our output, the money that's going out for us. And what do you do every time you move? When you move homes, you throw out the things that you don't need anymore, you don't want anymore. And when we go through hard economic times, the number one thing you need to do is get your financial wheelhouse in order. You need to do that first. And so go through everything and see what apps are you paying for that you don't use, what services are not working and utilizing correctly.
What subscription services like Netflix and Hulu,
I know.
Stuff. So Tony and I just moved in together. He was paying Netflix, I was paying Netflix. He was paying Hulu, I was paying Hulu.
Well, I have two of them.
I was like, and so we like, okay, I can get rid of that, I can get rid of that. So we literally like cut like $150 in each of our budgets, because we're, he was like, okay, you can pay for that, I can pay for this. Okay, you stop that. We
Tina, I'm going to hook you up. I'm going to hook you up and save you even more money, because I have a service that's $99 a year, and it does everything. So I'll just.
Whoa! Today's episode is sponsored by Christina's $99.
Don't tell anyone, okay? I'll like hook you up behind the scenes, right? But like this is really important, right? That you have to get your financial wheelhouse in order. You have to know what to offer people and pivot and meet people where they are and find a need in the economy, And even if like we're talking about affiliate marketing and sharing other people's services and making a little bit of money off that, but what about network marketing, other people's products? Like, I didn't think that I was going to jump back into that, but that's something that if you have a skill set, shit, right? And so here we are. And if you have a skill set and you have a network and you can sell and you believe in something fiercely, you can create an income very, very quickly. That was, a 5-figure income that I didn't have 2 months ago that's coming in every single month. So you have to realize that there are opportunities. There are opportunities everywhere in chaos. You just have to find a need and fit that need.
So let's kind of go through the multiple streams of income. So you got your one-on-one coaching, you got your group coaching, you got your memberships, you have your royalties from the books that you write. What other things can you guys spit out? Affiliate marketing, residual marketing.
There isn't as many paid to speak events like I used to do pre-COVID, but they're still out there, right? They're still big, huge convention type events. And those just amplify the products and services that we're talking about anyways, because even if you're speaking for free, that you could typically promote. Podcasting, same exact thing. It's a stage, it's a platform.
Affiliate commissions, like I'm an affiliate with Amazon, and I'm an affiliate, I'm an on-site commission with Amazon. So anything I do a review on, I can do a review on this cup. And anytime you buy this cup, I make 10 cents off every single cup that so like all the different things that you can do, why not do them?
Yeah.
And also with affiliate marketing, you can also have your own affiliate offer that you have other people promoting your services for you as well. So I have people who consistently promote that. Yeah. And what I like about affiliate marketing too is promoting products that actually bring in recurring commission every month.
Yes.
Versus one time.
Absolutely. Again, you talk about the subscription base. That is huge. Right now, one of the things I've been working on is like, many of us have talked about with all of your content, with your courses, with the educational pieces that you provide, is putting together a vault, right? It's just kind of a one-time products and services that I used to sell for thousands of dollars. I'm typically now offering them for like $49 a month, and you have access to everything, right? But a vault is great because it takes old content and some of your current content, and it puts it together.
Mom, she says, "Hola."
but anyway, so that's a great way of being able to do that. It kind of goes in line with subscriber-based type stuff, right?
So your mom gave me. We have to always shout out Cheryl, because she sent me like the most amazing text, and I think between her and my mama in I call her Mama Berta in Jacksonville, those two ladies like sent me this long text, and it came at the right time, and I'm just like, oh, so thank you, Mama Cheryl, I love you. Okay, keep going. Okay, so affiliate commissions. So like you can sell other people's courses. Evergreen courses. I just launched my course, Aspiring Authors Academy, which is an evergreen course. I created it one time. It's going to always be there. And I have an affiliate commission for, when you guys sell it, you guys get commission off of it, right? So evergreen courses. I mean, there's so many things.
And like, what about like, here's a little bit more crafty and outside of like the digital marketplace, but like, what if you had, a basement suite, or what if you had a carriage home, or what if you had like something that you could turn into an Airbnb? Exactly. What if you had a little bit of spare money, right? Like people are sitting there saving money in investments, but guess what happens during hard economic times? People sell their businesses. This is where you pick up businesses and you buy businesses that have reoccurring revenue.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, there are some people that all they do is create, an online platform or a business so that it can be sold, right? And that's great for those that just don't want to go through the headache. You don't want to build a website. You don't want to build your own funnels. You don't want to build, whatever it may be, or even your own products and services. There's so many out of the box type opportunities out there. The other thing I'll just kind of throw back, because I do believe that in these, economic uncertainties, there's many people that I know watch us that are still kind of working their career, right? Their 9-to-5 job. They haven't started business yet. They're looking to launch something. And so I'm going to kind of go back to that evergreen thing again, Tina. I've always said a great way to start making a little bit of money and to kind of dabble in the world of becoming an entrepreneur is to take something that you're very, very good at, something that you're already doing in the workplace, create some type of a course, or even just a series of simple videos out there that you're using to either give away for free, which promoting them is going to build your audience, or 2, selling them for a very low price, maybe putting them into an ebook or some type of digital asset. These are really easy ways to kind of get your content out there and start building your own personal brand as well.
Definitely. There's a lot of people who work in HR who could get into career coaching. And oftentimes we see people who are business professionals, who work full time, right? They're corporate professionals, and they immediately want to come into the online space and start coaching on something. But you can actually get creative too. You can teach, if you're interested in arts, you can teach people. I see people who have memberships that are making them up to $1 million a year, teaching people literally how to use watercolor or painting different things and colored pencils and crafting. So you really can get creative about what it is that you're doing in the online space. It doesn't specifically have to be coaching around mindset, life coaching, or business coaching. It can be in the creative realm as well, or anything that you do.
Anything, quite frankly. Yeah.
I love that idea too. And it was interesting because we had a rare date night last night. Nana left today and we had a rare date night last night. And Ryan and I were sitting there thinking about other streams of income around what he's doing for real estate. And I said, Ryan, like, you have been known to open restaurants and bars. Like, how to set up books, how to do systems. You could put that in a box and sell it as a course online for people.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're missing this opportunity.
Are you guys still doing your
boozy freezies?
Your popsicles?
Yep. And yeah.
It'd be good for me to take to Myrtle Beach with me. I mean, I'm just saying.
They don't ship well. They don't freeze well and ship well, my friend.
Well, that's why you just ship them unfrozen.
Yeah, there's a thing across the border. They have issues shipping food that's frozen in a package or a package that you can't get into.
You're going to be one of those people in the airport. Yeah, that's right. all over a freezing pop.
Yeah, are you Peter Torres? Put your hands behind your back. What?
That would be me.
Right. We're sorry. We're missing 2 people today. They're both in jail for drug smuggling on the Mexican border.
But that's a great idea, Christina, for him. Or, anything around, business, real estate, also, and whatever.
Right, and it's the educational piece that really interests people probably more than anything, right? I mean, once someone is in real estate, selling more homes is a technique of marketing yourself, branding yourself, doing some of the things, working hard, right? There's a lot of things you have to do. You have to dive in and work hard. And I see Christina was frozen for a moment. But what I'll say is the education piece, though, right? What I found is whatever your craft is, this is what prevents most people from taking this leap that we're even talking about is fear. Most of it is the unknown, like the ability to be able to take the knowledge that I'm really good at, or anything that I even enjoy or I'm passionate about. Could be a hobby. And I never want to take that leap because of the fear of the unknown. And that's what people like us are here for. I mean, I'm just putting it out there. The fact that you can.
And I think it's, they don't know what the next step is or how to start or what that next step is. Because that's what I'm getting from a lot of people is, I want to do this, but I don't know where to start. I want to start this, but I don't know what to do first.
Right.
So, you know, a business in a box or a course or any of those kinds of things. And I mean, like me, I'm just like, how do you write a book? You know, like on Google, I like Google everything. How do you do this? How do you do that?
Mm-hmm.
And with all the different things, you can teach yourself pretty much anything if you just have patience.
Yeah. Patience, time, collaboration is big. And, you know, whenever you want anything in life, you know, lock arms with those that already have something that you want, right? The other thing, too, that I would like to address on all this, because I know it goes across many people's minds. I know every client that I typically talk to that's just starting to get into the world of business. You know, most of us have this again, major fear element. And we also seem to, you know, hold ourselves accountable to those that have already walked that path, right? We sit there and it's like in that imposter syndrome. Well, and this person is, you know, doing 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, whatever it may be. And you may find like that you just can't tap into it. And so you start to have this doubt, these limiting beliefs against that. And so one of the things I always put out there is it doesn't matter where you're at in your walk of life, right? I guess the best way to put this is a 3rd grader can teach someone in 1st grade something they don't know, right? Typically speaking. And so you don't have to be somebody that's already graduated. You don't have to be somebody that's already been fully educated. And a lot of people, and Star, I'd like to hear your input on this because you see it all the time in your business, I'm sure, where people feel like they need to know every single thing and they need to be an expert before they can actually launch their business.
I was just actually going to speak about that. So there are a lot of people who are stuck on perfection. I'm actually not a perfectionist, by the way. I know a lot of people I know are. I'm not to put anyone down, but you know, you really have to take imperfect action. Whatever that thing is that you want to bring to market or launch or start selling, you're in your head. Number one, you might be, I want the name to be correct, which I am guilty of that, right? But some people are just like so focused on developing this most incredible program or this offer. They spend a year in development phase. By the time they bring it to market, they never do, or people are no longer interested in what it is that you have to offer. So I think it's very important for you to take action. If it doesn't sell, guess what? You get to pivot and come up with something better, different, whatever the market is asking for. But you just have to get started.
Yeah. So done is better than none, right? So yes. Hello, my name is Tina, and I'm a recovering perfectionist. I used to be that person. But now I'm just like, let's just go. So many of my clients have said, but I don't have the 5 years experience. I don't have the 10 years experience. I'm like, you don't need any of that. Because guess what? People want to do business with you for a reason. And if you're closer to who they are right now, they're going to relate to you more. Instead of like, I did that 10 years ago, and I can help you get to where I'm at.
Exactly.
If you're just a couple of streets ahead of them, you're going to be able to help them.
Well, I think understanding too that that none of us really know what the outcome is when we first start. Like I want to share that with people so that they understand that we don't start like everything's going to be perfect. This is the course, this is the outline. Like we start and we learn as we go because we don't know exactly what are the things that other people need. We can assume, but until we're in it, right? And you guys just gave me a really great idea. And I'll give you this as an example. When we were talking about things that you could do to monetize, Ryan is very good at flipping homes. He's been flipping homes since he was 19. He's almost always doubled his money on homes. And I just wrote down 10 things to do to increase your sale price by tens of thousands of dollars. And I was like, okay, we need to do a course that teaches people when they're going to sell their house, how to increase their sale price very quickly, very fast. Like you could do it in a week and increase by tens of thousands of dollars because he's done it every single time. And do I know like exactly what's going to go in that course? No. Do I know what's going to speak loudly to people? No. But as you get feedback on these things, just like personal coaching, just like when you're running a business, as you get feedback, you continue to improve. You continue to get better every time, right? And then finally, 10 years later, you have a signature program, right?
Exactly.
We're in the same business today as we did when we started our business. How many years ago?
Yeah.
No. My business completely changed, Robert.
Yeah, everything. Well, that's what I mean. Multiple pivots. I look back. It was actually funny you say this because 3 weeks ago, I was on with one of the original, like one of my first coaches that I ever had. And so we were kind of joking, and then he's like, "Isn't it weird that I'm coming to you now as my coach, and I was your coach when I first started?" And so we kind of laughed about that. But I pulled up one of my very first ebooks. I used to make money on just ebooks, and I've changed that since then. I do digital magazines and other things. But the ebook itself, I looked at that content. And I just cringed, right? Because it was so old and out of date. But I was just like, oh my gosh. I actually talked about how to start your Facebook group for the very first time. And this is when like Facebook had just started groups.
Yeah.
All of the content was, completely, invalid, of course. But it's great looking back on those things because you realize that you were still able to monetize. You were still able to do something to convert an opportunity from that stuff along the way. But yeah, these things will continue to change. And I don't want to dismiss like a perfect segue to talk about technology, right? It's constantly. I mean, speaking of Christina, look at Christina, you're frozen like you're doing a Broadway show. You're like, hello, my baby. But anyways, but yeah,
it's always me, right? It's always me.
Yeah.
It's because you're in Mexico, another country.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You gotta pivot no matter what. And
forward, exactly.
Like, our technology wasn't very good to us this morning. Things happen, right? And you just got to say, you know what? Okay, we're not doing that. Okay, let's go to Zoom. Okay, Zoom's not working. Let's go Facebook Live. Okay, Facebook Live's, whatever you got to do to change things. Yeah. So don't think that it's just you or you're not.
Oh, it's not. It's
people
not.
love to watch you as you're falling, like like Brooke said, fall forward. People like you to fail forward, right? Like they're like you to watch you go through your steps of failing and watching you like rise out of the ashes.
Oh, that leads us into other ways of being able to move past that, right? Building your own brand through your story and the trauma and the loss and the other things that really become like the fabric of who you are, the DNA. That's what people tap into. These are the best times right now. Yes, you do have to pivot. You have to sometimes reinvent your products and services, but this is not the time to reinvent you. This is the time to really, if anything, dig in deep and spend a lot of time letting people know who you are. That's when you'll actually start seeing an increase in business. And that's how you're able to build the know, like, trust factor through an online presence when people haven't met face-to-face, right? Tina, you and I have met. I've never met Christina and Star face-to-face yet. I can't wait till I do.
Listen, I haven't either.
Can't wait till I do. I'm going to give them a big hug, right? But we're best buddies, right? We're digital buddies.
And you that authenticity. You know how many times people have met me in real person in real life after so many years of knowing me online. They're like, "Oh my God, you're like the same person." Like,
yeah.
And I'm like, am I not supposed to be?
Yeah. But that's because there's so many people out there that unfortunately are putting on a persona of somebody else, right? Yes. Somebody else they idolize, or just a way to sell a product or service. And that's not what we should be doing for sure.
And I do get, oh my God, you're a lot shorter than I thought.
I think when you've got a big personality, they expect you to be really tall. They say the same thing to me. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm not that short.
Wait, how short are you, Christina?
I'm 5'5".
And see, I have the opposite effect, right? Because I'm 6'3", I'm 250 50-ish pounds. right? And
like me and him.
so people are always like, "Gosh, you're like a giant compared." You know, when we were at Faith Over Fear, they're like,
Yes.
they're like good. But
A lot of them were like, "Oh my God, you're a lot shorter than I thought," or "Oh my God, you're so you're so just like the person on TV." And as it boggles me because I'm like, "Aren't you supposed to be authentic?"
Yeah. Well, there's so many people that are fearful of that, right? And you'll find that you'll be able to build a bigger audience that's actually more targeted to you, right? To that, again, that know, like, and trust factor. I can't emphasize that enough. I want to talk about technology though, again, because
face this time.
So I do want to talk about technology just a little bit more, because when we're talking about economic uncertainties, there's a lot of things that we should be taking a look at, right? We should be taking the look at, we invest so much of our product, our time, our own services into, single platforms. And so I think being diverse is super important. And also the way that you actually can connect with your audience is even more important, meaning that if this was gone today, if we weren't able to have any type of a video podcast, what would we be able to do, right? I think maintaining the email list, being able to still reach people through text, through phone calls, actual phone calls. Yeah, those things are very archaic, right? But they're really some of the best methods. And because we've moved ourselves so far away from those old services, that when people do get an actual like personal note from you or a handwritten note, Tina, right? We talk about that a lot, or even a phone call. People are like really shocked and they're like, wow. I mean, like, you reached out to me personally just to have a conversation. And so again, I think being diverse is very important right now. Technology does suck. Heck, Tina, I thought Tina was getting my emails for 3 straight weeks. And I realized, and I won't talk about the platform because I love the platform, but I realized that I did not accept certain things. And so it wasn't sending her.
Oh, wow.
He was like, "Wait, did you get this and this?" I was like, no. And he goes, "Okay, did you get this now?" I'm like, "Still nothing."
I'm like, "Thank you, because you saved me from 4 other people that hadn't been receiving things that I was onboarding." But anyway,
speaking of that, Facebook and Instagram can go down any time. I mean, it's gone down twice already in the last 2 or 3 years, right? And everybody's
this year
panicking.
This year alone. Yeah.
And so, your email list alone is literally the only thing you actually own. And that's the best thing that you're going to be able to do to build your business is through that email list.
And so many people focus on just creating content every day, which a lot of people also are not trained on how to create correct content. But then you're like, well, what's going on with your email list? Well, I don't have an email list. You want to launch, but you don't have an email list. You want to make money, but you don't have an email list.
Oh, but I'm on Facebook. I post twice a week.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I've got 2 million followers, right?
I've been promoting my course both times.
And you can treat your email list like an ATM machine. You can literally send out an email and make sales in your business. So it's so important that you focus on that. And I know you're talking about technology, but I really wanted to tap into the mindset piece of it, because there's a saying, what you choose to focus on becomes your reality. And right now, so many people are like, I want to quit. I want to walk away from my business. People aren't buying from me. Nobody's interested in my services. Nobody's interacting with me.
Yes.
Okay, again, what are you focusing on? And where is that going to position you 2 years from now when the economy is in a better state? Because we do know, Christina loves to talk about how these things are cyclical. That's going to turn around. You're going to be on top of everybody else. You're going to have a huge email list if you consistently work on lead magnets and creating the proper type of content on social media.
That's not working. Okay, let's change it up. And don't change the whole thing. Just change your graphic, or just change the copy, or just change the title.
It can be something as simple as like testing time of day, right? That you send things out. I mean, we deal with every time zone. And so I've even found that I have to tweak things just basically to cater to my audience. And you're right, Star. I think just putting out that content on a regular basis, because, content is just like that old, it's the old philosophy of marketing. It's the old school way of, you needed the trifecta. A billboard was only as good as the radio that you were listening to and you heard the same advertisement, or the TV that you turned on, or the newspaper you opened up, right? That was the old way where you weren't just getting clients from one thing, but it was this kind of trifecta of, oh, I've heard this before. I've seen this before. I've experienced this before. And that's really what you want to put out there. You want your content to be so tangible and so regular, consistent, that people actually, when they do need your products and services, they think of you first.
Yeah. And Robert, and I know you and I both, do that brand, make sure you brand yourself and not your company. Yes. So branding yourself. So then that way, when people, as they're scrolling through, they'll see that pink and white. They're like, ooh, that's Tina. What does she have to say? They're kind of like back. And so they'll see your thing. They'll start recognizing your thing. And in fact, people send me screenshots of other people's pink and white stuff, and they're like, "Oh, I thought this was you."
That's right. You and I have talked about that, and I know like your brand is built more on color than my own, but it works perfect, right? Because every time I see any kind of like a floor display or anything, and it's all in pink and white, I'm like, Tina, right? I need to think of Tina.
People take pictures and they send it to me. Oh, Tina, look at this. Oh, Tina, look at this. Yeah. And and I chose pink for a specific reason, because pink is the color of gratitude, and my target audience are female entrepreneurs, classy, feminine, and I know my target audience, and so that's why when I created my colors and all that kind of stuff, it's so important. When you're creating your colors for your brand, blue and green are more, mood and calming colors. Red and yellow. Do you know red and yellow are make you hungry? That's why Burger King, McDonald's, Taco Bell, KFC, all of those are red and yellow brands.
What's that say about my jersey right now? I guess
Are you hungry?
Yeah. So absolutely, but that is so true. And these are the best times. Again, I think it's a perfect way for us to spend the next 10 minutes before we close out. But Star, you talked about mindset once again. There's so many different layers of mindset. I cannot emphasize that enough. In times when you're sitting there still trying to figure things out, educating yourself, really working on personal development, even the little things, right down to like if you're fearful to speak on stage, or you haven't put a course out because you're afraid to be on camera, whatever that may be, these are like the perfect times to work on those things. And also just reach out, right? Reach out to any one of us can help you in that area. And I will say this.
Morning routine is so imperative, and having a good morning routine, having the gratitude. The gratitude is probably the number one thing, and it's free, that you can do that will bring in more customers, more money, more stuff to be grateful for. Star, what is one thing that you do every morning without fail?
Wake up. No.
That's good. That's a good way to start your day, quite honestly.
So I'm not really religious with the morning routine activities at this time, but because for me, I get up and get my boys ready for school, and I feel like I'm not that 5 a.m.
I'm usually in panic mode a little bit too.
She's like drinking coffee.
But typically you can do any type of meditation, reading. I do listen to audiobooks. I know that my colleagues here, they try to read like 2 books per month. I actually hop around to like what's on my mind at that moment, and I listen to those things. But yes, I am always working on some level of personal development, even if it may not be in the morning, Tina. But yes, it is very good to have a morning routine if your lifestyle permits.
And it doesn't have to be like right.
And Christina, you will love this, because I just introduced Tony to Ed Milet. And so every day on his way to work, he has been listening to Ed Milet podcast. Is that because we usually talk on the phone on his way to work and talk on the way back. So I told him, listen, on your way to work, don't talk to me. He's like, what? And I was like, I need you to listen to these podcasts. And he's like, oh, did you hear that podcast? And, I just listened to it. So he is all about Ed Milet now. So this episode of Uncensored Entrepreneurs is sponsored by the Ed Milet.
It looks like we have to get him on our show now that you've mentioned.
We have to. We must. And you know what? I listen to him at 2 a.m. just different times, right? Like I'm now up at 2 a.m. listening to Ed Milet.
I'm listening to Ed Milet.
Yeah.
Just feeding the baby.
Right.
Yeah. A book that I will plug is called The 5 a.m. Club. I've mentioned it a few times. That really helps with the routine when people start thinking about that. And even if you can't implement the 5 a.m., because that's like the optimal time, There's still so many good lessons that you can pull from it in regards to routine. It doesn't have to be something that's absolutely overwhelming. Think of your life being broken down into 3 or 4 segments of 1 hour a day. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like, you're in the gym for an hour and you're studying for an hour and that's very overwhelming, especially if you have a very busy life. Yeah. And so just those little segments, 20 hours, 20 minutes.
Hours sleep for, you'll be fine.
Yeah. 20 minutes of meditation, 20 minutes of working out, 20 minutes of education. These things in itself can change your entire life, by the way.
Yeah. We are, even I start my clients, I'm like, listen, what time do you get up? And they're like, 7, 8 or whatever. I just tell them to get up an hour earlier, because just that one little hour, you can get so much stuff done. Much stuff. Your gratitude takes 5 minutes.
And I wanted to share this book too.
I love it. Actually, I've spent time with Jen. Yeah, I love Jen Sincero. Yeah.
Yeah, and this goes back to the confidence level within yourself, because we were talking about people who are in the online space who are struggling to make income, or they want to give up on their business. And some people are posting, but also some of you guys, like, I don't even know who you are. I've never seen you on video, and I'm not trying to be mean in any way, but I don't know, how you can impact my life or change my life, because all I see is maybe like graphics, but I never really see you. I don't even know what your voice sounds like. So it's very important that you focus
on marketing that everybody's talking about.
But they have some free passes to a mastermind that you can go to.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that is so true.
Yes, Christina. Oh, I forgot about that. I have a couple people, they just DM me events. Like, what, like, are you?
What event? Yeah. Was it Robert?
Are you talking about me?
No, not you, Robert. But I'm saying if you look at your DMs with them, all you're going to see is a history of events. But
absolutely. Well, that goes back to what we said earlier. You can really make a great living
on just
promoting other people.
And just spam the heck out of them.
Oh yeah.
Just try to sell as much as you can, and then the next week jump ship to another company and spam again.
Yeah, Well, there's unfortunately there's too many people doing that. But I meant you can really have a great living. You can create a great living promoting other people's products and services. But you need to, as Star said, you need to kind of feather in and layer in. And I talk about that with clients. Your brand, your personal brand, your voice, as you said, Star. If you don't like complete, video yet, let it be audio or a combination of the two. Like, people need to kind of see that. And the other thing I'll just throw in there, one more little thing, because it's completely unrelated to the business economic topic, but it really has everything to do with it. And that is your personal life as well. Like, let people know a little bit about your personal life. That is a big part of your brand, whether it's something that it's a hobby that you enjoy, or it's things that you like to do with your family, the things that are your why, the things that are really important to you.
Relate to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So many people, when they found out my mom passed away, reached out to me personally and was like, hey, I just wanted to reach out. I seen that your mom passed away. I'm so sorry. This happened to me too. And this is what I did. You know what I mean? And so people want to relate to you. When I got engaged, they all reached out. Oh my God, I've been following you for so many years. Like, oh my God, it's finally happening.
They're like, finally, oh my God, I can cross that off my prayer list.
It's your affirmation every day. Write her affirmation.
Some man out there will scoop you up.
Yeah, that's right.
A lot of the women out there who were single too, during the same time I was.
Right.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Now you're giving me a little bit of hope. People want to know a little. I took a shower today and I just went to the bathroom and oh my God, you don't need to know all of that, but people want to give a little glimpse inside of your life.
It's so true. I mean, we take 4 big vacations typically a year. That changed during COVID, but we love traveling once a quarter, and it's really the ability to just recharge, right? To unplug. But we love sharing experiences with other cultures,
Yeah.
We love food and other, just other things in the world to explore.
Style marketing.
Right. But by doing that, right, I'm not pitching anything, but by doing that, I can't tell you how much business I've actually gained because people are like, how? Like, how in the world? I haven't taken a vacation in 5 or 6 years, right?
Or why are you always on vacation? Well, I'm really not always.
Not really always, but and the thing is, that does go back.
It's always on the beach at 7 a.m.
Christina lives, in paradise, so she's always on vacation.
At 7 a.m. and you will see Christina Whiteley out there with probably Isaac too.
But Star, that goes back to mindset once again. Like, if you want something, if you want a different lifestyle, it's available to you. I'm telling you right now, I used to be stuck in that kind of scarcity mindset, which made me work 60 hours a week for corporate America on a regular basis. And I didn't take vacation for 9 straight years because I felt like I needed to continue to just input, right? There was nothing else that kind of coming out of it. And it ruined so many aspects of my life. And so it is a mindset shift. You can make the same amount of money. You just have to think about money a little differently.
Exactly.
And actually, you can make more money as an entrepreneur. And I'm not really trying to be funny or put anyone down. If you love your job, I love it too. But there are so many people who will not walk away from that job because they are relying on that paycheck because they do not believe that they can actually make more money as an entrepreneur. I knew for a fact that when I was at 6 figures in corporate, I wasn't going to get much more than that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Star, let me tell you, that's what happened to me. I was at 6 figures in corporate and I got laid off on my job, like pushed out of my job, and I landed. This is where I landed. So, I had one of my guy friends call me, and I tell them to this day, I'm like, I remember that call. He's like, Tina, and he's Jamaican, so he had a little Jamaican accent. Sunshine. He's like, listen, you were too good for this job. Everybody knew it. And I was just like, what? And they were like, you would have never left.
Yeah.
You were so comfortable, you would have never left unless you got pushed out. And then having that, I was able to create this business that I have now, making the same amount more than I am now, working less than I was there.
And enjoying what you do, right?
And
there's something to be said about that. Working 60 hours for yourself and enjoying everything that you're doing, which actually in turn
different than working for somebody else.
Totally different, right? Yeah. And you're serving others in a different way, right? Like sitting behind a desk in corporate America, there's still a reason for it, but I didn't feel like fulfilled.
Smaller reason.
You're going to pay way more in taxes, though. I'm just going to say.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Christina.
Write off everything. That is the motto of the entrepreneur. So
I'll never forget working in corporate, and I was an HR assistant while I was in college, and I was doing the role of the HR generalist. I was doing the role of the HR manager. The VP of HR finally caught on to that. She let go of one of the generalists. Then she found out that I was doing the role of the manager. She didn't let her go, but she gave her a warning. I still continued to do this work, got my degree, and they gave me a raise, but wouldn't give me a promotion when I was up to leave the company. I was so glad I left that job. That's what landed me into a 6-figure job a year later when I left that job. But still, I'm so happy with entrepreneurship because I do not want to go through those types of things again.
Absolutely. So we're coming to a close. And there's so many different ways to kind of thrive during these like economic uncertainties. Please connect with us. Connect with somebody else that maybe is kind of living the lifestyle that you would prefer, or maybe selling a product or service that you can like really relate and connect with. Exactly. But there's so much opportunity. And I can tell you that almost every person I've ever came across that says, I have no skills, I wasn't born with this, there's no special talent that I have. Spend a little bit of time with someone like us, and we will help you find that special talent, because every single person that can hear my voice right now has a talent and a gift that they were given without them even knowing it in many cases. So
we just got to pull it out of you. So we will see you guys next week, next Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern. Have a good week, everyone. And don't forget to like, share, and follow Uncensored Entrepreneurs.com.
All right. See y'all later. Thank you.